Hey guys, thanks for joining us today for a MessageGears demo. So my name is Celia Allen. I'm an account exec here at MessageGears, and along with me I have Adam Fenwick, one of our solutions engineers. So I'm going to give it just a couple minutes to give everyone a chance to get settled in, and then we'll get started. Okay, I think we can go ahead and get started. So to kick things off, we're just going to walk through a few slides to set the stage and give you a little more context around who we are and why we exist. And then after that, we'll hop right into the platform. So I'm going to just dive right in. Brands should be able to keep up. So this is definitely a core mantra here at MessageGears. All brands should be able to keep up. You know, brands are really faced with this looming challenge of being able to satisfy their end consumers' needs on a day-to-day basis. I mean, we're all consumers ourselves, and if there's a company that we interact with or buy from frequently, we certainly want to be treated accordingly, right? So let's take, for example, some companies like Netflix, Uber, Delta, where they're truly consistently staying ahead of the game and delivering the right message to the right person at the right time. They're setting that standard for the ultimate customer experience, and we believe that every brand should be able to do the same. So, kind of in that same vein, the technology that you use daily should not hinder you. Instead, that technology should be there to liberate you and not limit you. Your customer engagement strategy should be supported by your tech, and as a marketer, you shouldn't have to force your creative ideas around these legacy systems. So at the end of the day, your customers should be surprised and delighted. I mean, that's the ultimate goal for all brands, hopefully, and we know that you do need a true partner to help you get there. So let's talk about the necessities of messaging for super senders. So here at MessageGears, we work with what we call super senders. And what is a super sender, you ask? A super sender is simply a term that we use for a company that sends millions up to billions of emails per month. So when a company is managing these types of volumes, there's definitely a different level of challenges that come into play. So we find that these three things are critical to your success as a super sending marketer. So let's start with number one, data access. This means having direct access to your customer database or databases and actually being able to use all of that data in real time, not just a subset of your data that you're forced to push up to your cloud ESP. Number two is cross-channel automation. So this is a big thing today. And this, again, goes back to surprising and delighting your customers. You do need to be able to speak to your end consumer the way that they want to be spoken to, which often incorporates various channels. So we often hear that when companies try to start incorporating things like SMS and push and in-app notifications, it can be pretty siloed, and really that shouldn't be the case. This should be something that is easy for you to start managing and maintaining. And then last but not least is the deliverability side of the house. So this is definitely a biggie for the super senders out there. We know trying to achieve or maintain good inbox placement can be challenging, and you want to make sure that your messages are making it to your end consumer. So that brings me to MessageGears. So MessageGears, we are a hybrid cross-channel ESP built specifically for the super senders of today's world. So we really created our platform to specifically address those unique challenges that enterprises face today with their email and mobile marketing programs. And our customers know us for enabling them to use all of that data in real time. But they also know us for, I would say, quality white glove support, getting that service that you deserve, again, as a super sender or an enterprise organization. But they also know us for a quick and easy implementation. Your migrations should not be dreaded. We know every client, when they have to talk about migrating, it's normally a big headache. But we typically have our clients up and running within a couple days, not months. So let's talk about some clients that have found success with our hybrid model. So quick sneak peek at Chick-fil-A, based out of Atlanta, Georgia. Awesome client. So with Chick-fil-A, they just really needed a way to consolidate their programs and to be able to start sending more personalized messages to their customers. And since moving from their legacy ESP to MessageGears, they have been able to build up their Chick-fil-A One program. And if you can believe it, they actually have 500 plus variations of one single email template that dynamically renders for 32 base segments. Yeah, that is a mouthful. But today they've seen a 20% lift in their conversions and a 5x increase in their overall subscriptions. So I'd say there's a lot of really cool stuff going on over there. So eBay's now known as Rakatan Rewards, another great client based out in San Mateo, California. So with Rakatan, they really didn't feel like they were able to work with the most up-to-date data. So we were actually able to go on site and recreate a really complex program that incorporated a number of different data points and have it launched live within the day. So that was a big win for their team. And again, they saw a big lift in subscribers and conversion rates. But to add to this, after moving to MessageGears, they were actually able to start working on more internal projects that were slated out for years out, like 2020. So they've seen several programs now today that are hyper personalized to the individual, again, based on what they know about the end user, the various data that they're collecting, and the user's preferences. Last but not least, Expedia, super fun story. Expedia based out of Bellevue. So they send a ton of email that required, prior to MessageGears, a lot of attention from their IT department. But after moving to MessageGears, their team reported back to us that we were actually able to help them cut IT involvement in half. And on top of that, they saw a 100% return on their investment for the email channel specifically. So it has been a really great journey watching all of these customers grow and continue to be successful with our platform. So here's just a quick glimpse at some of the amazing brands that we work with. I personally say that the common thing among all of these clients are that most of them, if not all of them, are really data-driven organizations that wanted to truly take advantage of all of their data and use it in real time to have, again, a more personalized relationship with their end consumers. So before I pass it over to Adam, I definitely wanted to mention our free POC or proof of concept. So if you want to try our system out, we're happy to offer this complimentary offer. Our POCs are super easy to get going. You can actually give us your toughest challenge and don't just take our word for it. We'll prove it to you. So with that being said, I will pass it over to Adam.
Thanks, Aaliyah. So this is our product architecture. Over on the left side, this is going to be just your own environment. As you see here, our MessageGears Accelerator, it's a lightweight client. It's going to get installed directly next to your data sources and connect to those data sources, do your audience segmentation, your targeting, any of your content creation, your orchestration, as well as some of your analytics. And then over here in the center, that's where you're going to see the MessageGears Cloud. This is where we're going to do the heavy lifting. So we're going to do our message rendering and our message sending in the cloud. It's going to send those out, and then any of those analytics that get sent back into the platform, that's going to get collected in the cloud too, and then all of that is available to you in real time through our real-time events. So let's see this in our platform. So this is our Accelerator Platform. This is the dashboard you'll see as soon as you log in to the platform. It gives you just a quick glimpse into some of the different pieces that we have available here. We see our audiences, our templates, our campaigns, some of our analytics. All of these are things that we're going to cover today. So let's jump right in. Coming over into my audiences, first thing I'm going to show you all is an example of our drag and drop audience. So we do have both drag and drop and full SQL audiences available. I'm going into this, I already have my database connection set up, so we're going to jump straight into targeting. In the targeting section, this is where we're going to select our different attributes that we're actually going to use to do our targeting, do our segmentation of the audience. You'll see I have a few here selected already. If I click on this drop down, this shows me a full view of the different attributes that I have available to me. These attributes read directly off of your data source. So anything that you have available to you based on what you know about your customers can be exposed to Accelerator and be used in your targeting. So this whole list here, you don't have to do any type of manual mapping. It just automatically reads off of your data source there. You'll see I have a few things that are already selected here. Even down here, this is for a financial institution. We have some basic financial qualifications already selected. I'm using credit score, household income. These are PII data. This is stuff that's very personalized that you're not going to want to expose outside of your corporate environment. But luckily with our platform here, you can utilize it in doing your targeting for your audiences and not worry about that getting out. No security reasons there. If I want to add a new rule, come in here, click add. I'm just going to add in a new rule here. I'm going to target anyone under the age of 55. So enter those in. You'll see up here at the top too, I have my total counts for this audience. So since I've added this new rule, if I click the refresh button, it's going to go out there and collect a new count of those recipients that is hitting the live data source and pulling those counts back in real time. So you get those updates as you're going along. So after I have my targeting set up, I come down, I'm going to select my personalization attributes. These are going to be the actual attributes that I need in order to do my message rendering. So anything that you need to bring in to personalize your message, that's where you're going to do that here. Everything you see here on the left, these are the attributes that we saw above in our drop-down list. Over on the right, these are the ones I have selected. So these are the ones that we're actually going to share with the message to be able to do that personalization. As I come over, I'm going to select a few more so you can see what it's like to drop those in place. If I come up into my preview, I can preview what this audience looks like in real time. This is going to go out and grab an actual sampling of my audience. You'll see I have my first name and my last name there. I also have my locale and my state, the things that I just added. But if I wanted to go and remove those, I simply click the X's to take those away. Come back up, do a preview again. It's going to go out again, grab that sampling, and you'll see those columns automatically drop off. So this gives you that ability to really understand who you're targeting and the different pieces of information that you're bringing them in for your audience. You can also do a quick preview of the SQL so you can see how it's building it on the back end, just so you can take that to your IT team if you have any problems. So we have an audience built now. Let's take a look at what the SQL audience looks like real quick before we jump in. If I come here into, look at our cross channel, click edit. What you see here, this is just an example of our SQL audience. So you're going to have a full SQL editor here that you will use the native syntax of your data source to be able to create your audiences. Down here below, this is where we have launch variables. These allow you to parameterize your audience and make them really dynamic as you're bringing these in for your campaigns. We're going to see these in actions once we get into our campaign orchestration, but just know this is just a way for you to be able to pass in some variables so you can reutilize the same audience over and over again. So we've got our audience built. Let's hop in and take a look at how we build out a template. So we do have both drag and drop as well as HTML templates available here. This is going to be an example of our drag and drop. Up here at the top, we have our email template. We have a few of our different options that we can add in here for our sending profile, our subject line that has a little emoji in it. And then down here is where you're going to find your additional channels. All of that is here available for you. If I click in to my newsletter, this is where I can actually build out my email template. Over here on the left side, this is where we have our editor. On the right side, these are all the pieces of content that I can bring in and drop in place. You see we already have some images, some text blocks, even have a little piece here for movable ink so you can see a countdown timer to our next webinar that we're doing. If I want to come in and add any content, I've selected my social links because I forgot those. Drop those in place. I can now come in, I can change my stylings to make them look a little bit more in tune with what I'm going for. And I can even change which links we have here available. I'm going to add in Pinterest instead. See, it's just very easy to be able to drag and drop any of these content items over in place, do some styling changes, and have them there available for you. Now we do also have content blocks where you can do display conditions. So display conditions allow you to either show or suppress certain pieces of content based on how your audience is going to qualify. You see here that I already have a list of different display conditions that I have built out for this audience. So I can select from any of these for any of my content blocks. So what does this look like in practice? I bounce over here into my preview. This is going to give you a quick preview of what your template looks like for both your desktop and your mobile platform, so you can see how this is going to be responsive across the two. But if I come back over to my desktop view, you'll see I have a few of the different content blocks here that I've added display conditions to. I'm going to test those by coming in and actually seeing a full list of my different display conditions. All I have to do is toggle them on and off, and I'll see based on how my recipient is going to qualify which pieces of content actually get suppressed. Now what this allows you to do is build one single template and then build all of your content into that template. So I don't have to create multiple versions of each template in order to target my audience or in order to give them the right content. I can build it all into one and then use my display conditions to make sure that the content is delivered to the correct audience recipients. I can also view my source code here, so a nice easy way to see what's going in on the back end. So now that I have that built out, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to test to see what this looks like. Over here on the left side, I have an actual view of my recipients. If I click up here, you'll see I can go in and pull a live sampling of an audience that I've already built to do testing against. So that way you're not running off of just a random set of users that you've created. No, instead you are actually going and getting a live sampling of that audience. So over here on the left, I have my sample recipients. On the right side, you'll see that is my actual preview. I can start clicking through here and it's going to show and render and show you those changes across all of your different recipients as you go through. Gives you a nice easy way to be able to view this and understand how it's going to render for each of your recipients. And we do also have built-in litmus testing as well. That is available native in the platform. If I click through, I can start bouncing through, see how this is responsive across all the different major platforms, iPhone, Android, Windows, Mail, anything that you have out there and available to you. We do also have built-in spam testing too, so that is baked into the platform. You can run a quick spam test just to see how this might hit the inbox, how this is going to be delivered to your customers. Now let's jump back into here to take a look at our push notifications too. Our templates here, our templates are actually just a container for all of your different sending channels. So you'll have your email, your push, everything in one place. If I click into my additional channels, this is our push. This is what we have available here. On the left side, you see we have iOS, we have Android in the middle, so you can actually build this out specific to either platform. Any changes that you make here in the description, all of it's going to dynamically change. So here, if I want to type in financial instead, you'll see over on the right side, that automatically shows there and renders. I can even click through and see how this is going to render on both sides. You will have additional options to choose from for each platform specifically. But something that sets us apart, something that makes us a little bit different, is that you can insert a raw JSON payload here too. So if you just want to use this as a sending platform, if you want to have everything done through your app, then you can just put your custom payload in here, drop it in place, and then send it through our platform. That way it gets sent right along the way. So now we have our content built out. Let's take a look at how you'll build it out within a campaign. I have an orchestration that I've already put in place here for a welcome series. So opening that up, that takes me into my orchestration. The first thing that we did here, we just selected one of our audiences that we built. Once we've done that, we can start adding steps. The first step that I added to this orchestration is just a welcome email. Over on the right side, you'll see this is the different pieces of information about this step. If I click edit, it's going to take me into that step. This is where I've named my step, I've selected my template. I also get to choose my sending channel. So this is really important because it allows you to choose exactly which channel you want to send it to. If you're collecting information about your recipient's preference, then you can just select recipient preference, and this is going to get sent out to however they prefer to receive it. But you can also specify to go down a particular channel too. You can select email only, push only, or you can send it based off of all channels. Because this is the first step in our welcome series, I've selected this to go out 1 day after the account has been opened. And down here below, this is where we have our launch variables too. So this is we're going to add a few more parameters in to really be able to target on every single step. So let's take a look at that. If I move into my second step here, this is where we see our launch variables are changing. So this is the second step. This is going to go 2 days out from the account being opened, and this is just going to be an indicator to encourage them to open and complete their profile. Here in our launch variables, I actually included a launch variable that checks to see if their profile has been completed. For this, we've identified as false, so anyone who has already completed their profile is not going to receive this mailing. Instead, it's only going to be sent out to those people who have not yet completed their profile. So it allows you to really get personalized and target the way that you want to. We do also have decision points available too. So here, as we come into this one, we're going to send based off of an account type. So on the left side, we have sending out based off of a checking account. On the right side is a savings account. This is going to go out 4 days after. But down here in the launch variables, we see that we're restricting the account types. Now, what we see here is that both of them show savings, but actually on the left side, this one needs to be checking. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to change that. I'm going to save that step now. So if I come back into my decision point and click edit, you'll see that has now been changed. What's important about this is that this was already a pre-existing orchestration which I built. This could have been live. This could have been out there in flight. I can come back in and I can make changes to any step in my orchestration even though it's already been created. I don't have to go back in and either recreate and duplicate this orchestration or start from scratch and build one out just because I made a simple mistake. Instead, you can change any step along the way as you go, save those off, and they'll automatically be brought in. Another thing that you'll see here is on the left side of each of these steps, we do have different indicators. Those indicators will give you a visual as to how this is going to go out, what channel it's going down. So these little snowflake looking things, those are going to be based off a recipient's preference, but you can also see email or push as they go out. So it gives you a nice visual into how your orchestration is being built. If I come up here and click on View Analytics, that's going to take me into seeing some of the pieces of our analytics as we see them here. As I click through each of these, you would have your different deliveries, your opens and clicks, just a quick view. All of these are showing NA because this is not a live in-flight orchestration. But as this becomes live, these will populate in real time so you can get a better view either across the whole time of your orchestration or just based off of the last run of this orchestration. Now, another thing that we do have in the platform for our campaigns, we do have built-in multivariate testing, so you can do up to 32 different variations of either subject line or full template testing available to you. And then you can also auto-launch those winners based off of either opens or clicks. Those are available for your campaigns as well. We do also have both marketing and transactional campaigns, so you can do both that push of your transactional as well as building out your true marketing campaigns within the platform. But let's stay on the analytics here for a bit. Let's hop in and take a look at what our analytics look like. I'm going to select a job here. It has a lot of deliveries here. So this is our job analytics screen. Up here at the top, you're going to just get some of the metrics that come back through our real-time event feed presented to you for this job. You see that we have our deliveries up here. We also have our total and unique opens as well as our clicks, our bounces, and our attrition numbers, our complaints and our unsubscribes. The screen that we see here is our performance over time. So as you scroll across this, you'll actually see those numbers populate on the graph. I can come over here and change what I have checked, and you'll see that this also dynamically updates. We also have our top domains report. This is going to show you how it's performing across all of your domains. If you happen to have customers who are more concentrated at one domain than another one, you might be able to see that over time deliveries or opens are coming in a little bit slower than for one than another. That might indicate that there is some throttling happening at a domain. It just gives you a nice visual into understanding how your different messages are hitting the inbox for each of your customers across the domains. And then down here at the bottom here, we have our top device report as well. It's just going to give you a nice visual into our opens and our clicks across your mobile, your desktop, all of your different platforms here. If I come back out into my campaign list, select on one of these, this is going to give you a quick view into just the overall campaign analytics. Up here at the top, this is the performance over time. Down here at the bottom, this is our jobs list as well. So you'll be able to track your jobs across your different campaigns as they're going out in real time. If you have these divided out by account too, you can also check on them by account. So that's what we have to show you for our platform here today. Thank you very much, and please feel free to send along any questions.
All right, guys, so wrapping up today's discussion, I wanted to leave you with the 3 things that I believe our clients know us for best. Number 1, our unique hybrid approach, which hopefully you have a better grasp on after today's demo. Number 2, being able to work smarter and not harder. Being able to use the full breadth and depth of your data at scale and with ease. Number 3, last but not least, an easier migration. Because we don't have to sync your data to our cloud, this makes for a much faster migration. We will typically come on site and work with your team firsthand, and normally we're connected up to your data within a few hours. So bottom line, guys, hybrid works. Don't just take our word for it, we will prove it to you. So if you like what you saw today and if you want to see if it might work for your brand, we do offer a free proof of concept where we'll let you see the power of the platform for yourself with your data. So you can give us your toughest challenge, maybe a program you couldn't make work on your current ESP, and let us show you a better way. So thanks again for joining us today, and if you have any additional questions, we'll be sending out a follow-up with today's demo recording and a link to contact us directly. Thanks, guys.